Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
What is animal chiropractic? Animal chiropractic is the identification and removal of vertebral subluxation. That's all it is. Pretty simple. But my dog has a diagnosis. My horse has a diagnosis. It's a wobblers. It's on the x-ray. I can see it. It's been pointed out. Yeah, it could be, But here's the thing is that a lot of times we look at an x-ray and x-rays are static. Blood work is static. Doesn't mean anything. It's just what it is today. For instance, wobblers, if you read the definition of a wobblers is slow onset disease. That's type 2 wobblers. It's due to arthritic changes in an older animal. Or it's a congenital problem, which is there since birth. Okay, so, however, I can't tell you how many old horses or even young horses are diagnosed as wobblers because they're fine in the morning, they go out, we don't know what happened, they come in that night and they have neurological symptoms that coincide with symptoms of wobblers. Take some x-rays, see a little problem, oh my gosh, they're wobblers. All right, so you have a diagnosis, wobblers. All right, my diagnosis is vertebral subluxation. What are we going to do with the wobblers? Well, nothing. Retire them, have them live a quality of life, or do surgery. Those are our options with wobblers. What are you going to do with a vertebral subluxation? You're going to get your animal adjusted by a certified animal chiropractor. After 3 adjustments, if the animal's doing better, then the vertebral subluxation was the problem causing the neurological change. Maybe your animal has wobblers, but he can live with it. He can adapt with it because innate doesn't make anything wrong decisions. So keep them adjusted, keep the wobblers at bay. All right. So my thing to clients with a medical diagnosis or a veterinary diagnosis is that, that's great. That's a veterinary diagnosis. I agree, may have that. But what I'm going to do is identify and remove the vertebral subluxations from your animal, which is going to allow his brain to communicate with the periphery. It's going to allow the innate healing power that the body is born with to adapt to these changes in his body in an appropriate manner. Yep. We all get toxins. We're all exposed to toxins. We're all exposed to stress. And we're all exposed to trauma. Micro traumas happen every day. So those are the 3 things that cause these vertebral subluxations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to adjust, we're going to see what happens. How long is your adjustment going to hold? Well, for the average animal, probably every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what you're doing with your animal, what your expectations are from chiropractic, and how severe these vertebral subluxations are. If your animal's only holding 3 or 4 days and continues to hold 3 or 4 days, then maybe we need to do some more diagnostics. Maybe we need to see what else is going on. However, if your animal holds even a day, the first adjustment, he's better, boom, only holds a day. Let's go ahead and adjust him again. Oh, now he holds 5, 6 days. Guess what? He's healing. He is on the road to recovery. Let's continue the chiropractic adjustments. If he only holds a day and then a day, right? Now we need to do more diagnostics. We need to determine what's going on. That is when we do these diagnostic tests. Had a dog that was getting adjusted every 3 days, found out he had 7 bladder stones. They went in, removed the bladder stones, everything got better, right? But every time we adjusted him, he was good for 3 days. So the owners didn't want to spend the money on the diagnostics up front, but at the end they did. Had another dog come in. I said, I think his elbow may be broken, so we need to get some x-rays. They didn't really want to do the x-rays, but they finally agreed. So what are we going to do? We're not going to do surgery. I said, go get the x-rays. We'll look at it, see what's going on. It was dislocated, was able to fix it. The dog's doing great now. So chiropractic, the removal of interferences from the nervous system, the restoration of proper motion in the joints of the body, allow the innate to heal above, down, inside out. That's animal chiropractic.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing. Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm your host, Dr. O, and today we have the lovely Dr. Kat with us. Tell us about yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kat Rizak. So I am an animal chiropractor. I went to ACES to get my animal certification for animal chiropractic. And so this is my 3rd year. And I do both large and small animals, split my time 2 days a week for small animals and 2 days a week for large animals.
No people.
No people at all.
Oh, and you are a chiropractor.
Yes, I'm a chiropractor.
All right, cool. Certified in animal chiropractic. All right.
Yep.
In the state of?
Illinois.
Illinois. All right, cool. And so you know nothing but animal chiropractic.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for human chiropractic, so I know about that too, but I just do animals now, so.
Yeah, did you ever practice like on humans?
No, the only time I did humans was when I had to, when I was in chiropractic school for our human clinic, but after I graduated, never did another human.
So did you go to school with the intent of being an animal chiropractor? Or?
Yeah, so actually when I was in undergrad, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to work with animals. So my sister-in-law was actually friends with Dr. O'Connor. They went to school together and she was like, hey, my friend's an animal chiropractor. Why don't you see if you can shadow her? So I shadowed Dr. O'Connor, and after I did that, I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. And I decided to go the chiropractic route, same as she did. And now I work with her at Vitality. She actually owns Vitality. So
Cool. So how's your quality of life compared to like some of your classmates, do you think?
I haven't talked to a ton of my classmates since I graduated, but I love my job. It's awesome. I have, I actually bought a yearling this year, a yearling horse. So I've been wanting to spend a lot of time with him. So it's awesome to have a flexible schedule so that I can still get out there whenever I want to. And I see so many different kinds of animals, which is super cool too, because it always keeps things interesting.
All right. So that brings us to the next question. Why don't you share some of your amazing wins with us?
Sure. So I think I have a few really interesting cases. And so one of them was actually one of my first patients when I started working here. He was a little dachshund and he had a disc injury. So he had difficulty walking. He was crying and screaming when he would be picked up, difficulty with his rear end. And so I think for him, it took him about a month completely back to normal. He's been pain-free since then. He still comes in for regular adjustments, just once every few months I see him. So he was pretty cool, especially since he was one of my first ones.
I have a question for you
Sure.
about that disc injury. Did he come with x-rays or a diagnosis of it's right there?
So I don't remember specifically for him, but I do see more disc injuries than anything else. Sometimes they have x-rays, sometimes they don't. A lot of times they'll come in and people will be like, well, the vet said the problem is right here in his back. His back legs don't work. It's right here. They said they saw it on the x-rays, and I'll go through and I'm like, well, actually the issue is in his neck. And so, yeah, they go through and they tell me all the symptoms. They're like, well, he can't bend his head down to eat. He cries when he turns his head this way. And I'm like, well, the issue is definitely in the neck, not in the back, like previously mentioned. So that is actually quite common.
Cool. So since you, let me grab something real quick. I can find it. So remember, you got one of these, right?
Yeah.
We actually have gone to putting this on people's fingers now.
Okay.
And we tell them that this is, your dog's first vertebra, and his spinal cord goes through it like that. And, it should move a little bit, but your dog's walking around like that. And they go, ouch. And we say, so we'd like to go ahead and put that back into place. And then we explain to them why that's causing problems with the hind end.
Mm-hmm.
Gives them a little feeling of what it's like too, why the dog screams and why, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people too get really confused. They're like, well, how can it be in the neck when it's the back end that's not working?
Yeah.
So that's a big kind of confusion for people too.
Well, it's 10 reasons it's the Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all right. So that's number one. Give us some more. Let's share some more.
All right. So another one, same breed of dog. We actually get tons of those little, usually have some type of issue with their back because, they're so long and just more prone to injury there. This guy also had an injury in his neck, another disc issue. Completely paralyzed in his back end when he came. And typically they come on some type of pain med, steroid, muscle relaxer. They're like, it's been 2 weeks since we've been to the vet. He cannot move back there at all. All he does is scream. No control of bowel or bladders anymore. And he was a bit older. So when patients tend to be a little bit older, it takes them a little more time to bounce back. So it took 5 months for him to start walking again. And it was the wife that brought the dog in, and the husband didn't believe in chiropractic, thought this, was a waste of time, didn't really want to try it. Well, he came in, he was like, thank you so much. You got my dog walking again. He's like, I tell everyone about you. This is crazy. So it's really cool when you are able to kind of change people's opinions about it too, when they see it work firsthand.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. So
yeah,
you said he was paralyzed. Another neck injury, though. Another
neck injury.
Yeah. And how long did it take to get him off of the medications?
Typically they tend to wean them off the steroid right away. I don't remember for him how long he was on the pain meds and muscle relaxers. I don't think he was on the meds for too long though. Good.
We find they do a whole lot better once we can get them off of those.
Mm-hmm. People tend to get really nervous though about kind of weaning them off the meds, especially if they're still screaming and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things we always ask is, well, how are those meds working for you?
Yeah, typically they don't work very well at all.
So if they're not working, then there shouldn't be any problem getting him off them, So anyway, yeah. Cool. How about, you said that sometimes you have a variety of animals. So let's hear about something other than a dachshund.
All right. So, actually, one of my newer horse patients, he is a warm blood, and the owner messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, I've gone down every single route with him. He's like, we've been to multiple vets, we've tried massage, we've tried Magna Wave. He goes, we tried everything. Cannot get this horse sound. So the horse had on and off lameness issues in the rear end, and it was not ever one specific side of his rear end. It kind of flip-flopped between both of them. And then every once in a while, he would get a lameness in his front end. So they turned him out to pasture for a year and then started riding him again. And he was sound at first, and then same thing happened again. So they had another vet come and look at him. And the vet, without doing any type of imaging or anything, was like, oh, he has a muscle tear in his glute somewhere. He'll never be sound. And so that was kind of, without going into further testing, that was their best guess as to what was going on. So I was like, all right, let's see what he looks like. So I had the owner bring him in the arena to see what he looks like. And he just had the funkiest gait in his back end. Just like super tight and awkward, and his left one really swung in when he would walk. He was just a hot mess. So I was like, all right, let's see what's going on with him. He also told me he recently became really head shy, wouldn't let anyone touch his face or his ears or anything like that. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just see what's going on with him. Not surprisingly, he had a lot that needed to be adjusted around his pole, his TMJ, but his real issue was his pelvis. I mean, when you looked at him, both sides of his pelvis were so uneven. It looked painful just even without touching it. So he was a hot mess in his pelvis. And usually when they're that bad and they've had it for that long, it can take a few adjustments to kind of see results and get them more comfortable. I went back 3 weeks later and I was like, all right, how is he doing? He's like, well, I was shocked. He's like, he's been fantastic. The past week, he kind of started showing symptoms again. So 3 weeks might have been a little too long for him, but he was thrilled. Horse is doing so much better. So I think I'm actually going out there next week to see what he looks like again.
Cool. And was it the high side or the low side that was causing the biggest problems of his pelvis?
The high side.
The high side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He probably had some kind of a trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. What else?
So I actually go to an animal sanctuary every 3 weeks. And the person who runs it is actually a retired exotic animal vet. And they called me out for a pig that had some, a suspected disc injury in its back. So I went out there for the pig. He had a bunch of like muscle wasting back there and spasm in other places and was kind of a hot mess. And so he's gotten more comfortable with chiropractic. And since I was out there for him, they're like, oh, we have this, this llama over here and this alpaca. And they're like, well, why don't you take a look at this chicken and this rooster? So I've done chickens and roosters and turkeys and rabbits and pigs and alpacas and llamas and goats there. So big variety there as well.
So cool.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you wish all the animal owners in your area knew about animal chiropractic?
One of the biggest things I wish they knew or maybe understood better is that things take time. They took time to kind of get to this point, so it's going to take time to get them back to where they should be. That's probably the most difficult thing for people to get on board with, is that it can take some time for them.
Sometimes I think that's because most of the time we get instant gratification. We adjust and boom, oh my God, we're better. So that when we have one that takes a while, sometimes even for us, it can be like, oh, come on, walk.
Yeah.
Come on, get better. and like I sometimes even forget, anyway. So yeah. Yep. All right. So any words of advice to your fellow ACES students that are like maybe having trouble getting going, getting their classes done so they can come to lab?
If they're having problems with their classes, you're saying?
Well, like just finding the time, or, we
Okay.
can't seem to get done with the online part so we can get the lab.
So, I would say if it's something that you really want to do, then you will find time for it. With the parts being online, it can be a little more difficult because it's online. So you could say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then something comes up. Oh, I'll do it, tonight. And then something comes up. Maybe just schedule some time out to make sure that you get it, because once you can start going to ACEs and getting some hands-on experience, then you can practice a lot when you get home. So, and then that gives you even more motivation to keep going.
Good. So hands-on, describe the hands-on that you got when you came to lab.
A lot of adjusting.
A lot of adjusting.
It was a ton of adjusting for a lot of dogs, a lot of horses, which is nice because then you're able to practice on both large animals and small animals. And getting your hands on a lot of different animals is great as well, because the joints of, a 14-year-old dog are not going to feel like a puppy. And same with horses. When you work, I work on a lot of babies too. They don't feel the same way as, a retired 30-year-old horse would.
Cool. So we have some of everything here, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So Illinois, referral, direct supervision, or direct access?
Referral.
Referral.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people complain, oh my God, I can't get these referrals. Do you find that to be an issue? Or, obviously your whole practice is animal chiropractic, so you must not have a whole lot of trouble getting referrals.
So the nice thing for me was Dr. O'Connor this is her 10th year with Vitality. So we've had a lot of good experiences with small animal vets. So that one wasn't so much of an issue. But large animals are new to the clinic since I started. So getting the large animal vets to sign off has been a bit of an issue. I will say my first year, I lost out on at least 50% of the horses that I had scheduled because the vets wouldn't sign off. I have had a few that just absolutely refused, and kind of over time, I just, kept saying like, oh, this horse wants it, this horse wants it. So now most of them will sign off on it. I still have maybe one or two that just want no part of it and won't sign it.
And what was the biggest, how did you get those vets to sign off? Did you have to educate them?
A lot of it was kind of educating the client. So I would, if I'm having a bit of an issue, I'll say, your horse can really benefit from this. This is what we can do. This is what I would like to do. Would you mind giving your vet a call for me and just seeing what they think? Some vets were like, I haven't heard of her before. She just started out, pick someone that has more experience. And then I've had other people where, they've had multiple vets see their horses and they've saw so much improvement with one horse. I'm like, okay, like if you really want your other horse on, I just need you to I need you to call your vet for me. And so I've had some clients that have really, really pushed for me, and that's how we've gotten the vet to sign off on it.
So good. All right. Any words of wisdom for animal owners?
I'm sorry, it was hard
for
to hear.
The animal owners. For animal owners.
Well, I would say if you haven't given animal chiropractic a try, to go ahead and do so. A lot of people think, oh, my pet's not having any issues, so it's not something that I really need to do right now. But I always say the best time to get adjusted is before there is a problem, so we can actually prevent a problem from occurring. So I'd say, yeah, give it a try. Your pet will thank you for it. I think the only thing that kind of really surprised me right away is, like I said, we get a lot of disc injuries in here, is how bad the dog actually is when they come in. We've had some that were so painful that we couldn't even, they scream as soon as you touch them. And just the fact that, like I said, they can be kind of slow to respond. I feel like that was something that I was like, oh, and the beginning was like, oh shit, I don't know if I should be touching this dog and things like that. So yeah, I think that was kind of the biggest thing.
So that lets you know that some of these dogs are really sore. and just
Yeah.
go ahead and
Yeah.
adjust them anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, and that they can get a little sore afterwards too. Just like to give the owner a heads up so they're not freaking out about it. Other than that, I don't think there was anything that I was like, oh, I wish they would have told me that. A lot of people try other animal chiropractors. I just had one come in 2 weeks ago, and he's a human chiropractor, and his dog, shocker, had a disc injury in its neck. And he's like, I went to a chiropractor, an animal chiropractor, 2 weeks ago, and there was no change at all. And she told me it was right here in the back. And I'm like, well, that's because the issue's not in the back, the issue's in the neck. So I think a lot of the issue too is they just don't get enough hands-on experience. And if you're having to kind of like figure all that out by yourself, I feel like it's a lot harder to do.
Right. Well, and then without the show me chiropractic too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, when we do show me chiropractic, the animals show you where the subluxation,
Yeah.
Like you said, when you talk to the people and their dog can't lower their head, or they can't turn a certain way, or they're saying, wow, well, there's an issue right there.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
We're glad you're doing great.
Yeah, adjusted over 1,500 animals last year. So
over 1,500 animals last year. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very happy with it.
To maintain your certification, you have to do 50.
You have to do what, 50?
50.
Oh, well, I'm way good then. I'm way past that.
Good. Yeah. I think when you re-up your, when it's time to redo your animal certification, you have to say that you adjusted at least 50 animals in the last year. So.
Okay. Yeah, definitely have that. So.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah. You too.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Yay, I made it.
All right. All right. So, hey, today I have got a special for y'all. I'm here with Whitney Bettis. She's on the way to get a trophy saddle, and we're going to chat a little bit about chiropractic and the athletic horse. I think she has a little bit of experience, and she's going to talk to us. First, tell me a little bit about Whitney, about who you are. I mean, who's Whitney Bettis? Why should I listen to her talk about athletic horses?
Well, a few years ago, I had a really nice gelding that led me to get to know Dr. O, and we have been friends now. I'm going to say that's hard to believe, but about 18 years, I believe, if my math is right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. You were in Frisco at the time, and
Yep.
I was living near Texarkana. So I was hauling 3 hours one way to come see you. And
Yes.
I would come get spark plug work done about at least every 30 days. And when I was hauling hard, you would at least check in for me every 2 weeks. And
Correct.
that was a great tool in my toolbox to keep him healthy. Sorry, we're pulling into the arena right now. I'm on the passenger side. I'm not driving. He's 28 now, and he is happy and healthy and still sound. And I firmly believe that chiropractic care has contributed greatly to his longevity. If something was wrong, we addressed it. If he needed rest, he rested. And if he was ready to go, we kept going. So.
I remember one time, because, it was early in my career, too. We've been, like you said, we've known each other now for about 15 years.
We have a little bit of this.
Yeah. And so anyway, I remember one time I said, because you were coming in every 2 weeks, and I said, I almost feel guilty charging you because, no. I'm not doing a lot. And you said, no, don't feel guilty. Because why? What did it do? You were like, you did that one in the arena, in the indoor arena in Fort Worth. Remember you did that?
Yes.
Scientifically valid study.
I really did. I mean, there's no, you can't exactly have the same dirt 2 days in a row or 2 runs in a row. Very seldom do you get 2 runs in the same arena, that close back to back. I would drive from Texarkana to Fort Worth. I would run at Northside. When I would get through at Cowtown Coliseum, when I would finish, I would come to Frisco and stay overnight at the clinic where you worked. You would get up on Saturday morning and work on him. And then when I would go back Saturday night, I mean, that's as close as you're going to get to having the same ground conditions, as possible without making 2 runs in one day. And every single time, he was at least 0.3 faster on our Saturday night run than he was on Friday night. So
I still remember the first time you told me about that. And I said, well, how'd you do on Friday night? And you said, well, we won. I was like, great. So then I was supposed to do better on Saturday, right? And you said, well, yeah, of course. And I'm like, well, great. How are we going to get better than winning, right?
We're going to win by a little bit more.
A little bit more. And we set an arena record on Saturday too, didn't we, one night? June the 20th, I believe. June the 14th. I have my historian in the truck with me tonight. All right.
He's driving. June of 2004, Sparkplug and I ran a 13.374. Now, I do know that in, I want to say 2008, I believe, when they had the North Texas High School Rodeo Finals in that arena, that May, a tornado came through Fort Worth and knocked all the top windows out of the Coliseum. Well, that knocked all the glass down into the dirt in the Coliseum. They had to haul a lot of dirt out to get all the glass out. When they put the dirt back in, the third barrel stake is moved. That can't be my claim to fame anymore because they don't know the timers are in the same place. First barrel and second barrel stakes are in the same place, but they moved the third barrel stake a little bit closer to the roping boxes. I was there. We're at a roping or a barrel race and I'm watching a girl lope. Sorry, shiny object. I need to pay attention. When they moved the stake, of course, it changed the dimensions of the pattern.
Right.
But for several years, at the time when we ran that 13.3, the arena record was held by Heather O'Neill. Now Heather Howard. She was living in Flower Mound at the time, and like I said, at the time it was a 13.5. And it was neat because it was their summer finals rodeo, and Heather and I had been first and second the night before, and I knew I had to outrun her that Saturday night, and we did, and ended up winning the series for that year. And it was neat because she was there for me when I ran that 3. So that was kind of a cool memory, and you were there with us too.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, great. So chiropractic, did you ever, when you came and we made those 2 to 3/10 of a second differences, you didn't come and say, oh my gosh, he hurts, he's lame. You just were like, tune him up, right?
Yeah. I mean, my thought and my theory on this is, if we're going to ask them to perform like a professional athlete, then they deserve the treatment like a professional athlete. You got to take care of them. I mean, you and I can't run if our feet hurt or if our teeth hurt or
Right.
if our hip hurts. We can't perform to the best of our ability. And you made it to where I knew I could send him as hard down that alleyway as I wanted to because I knew he wasn't hurting. Because your ability to examine him, I could mash around on him and I thought he was fine. And then, but you taught me all those little ways to do the stretches and the scratches to get him to flex. And so he could better communicate with me and I could better understand what he was trying to tell me.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. Go get your saddle. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. Glad you
It's
could
great
fit
to
me
see
in. And when we get this all copied and finished on our athletic animals, we'll put it all together and send you a copy.
Thank you, Dr. O. Tell Dr. Amy I said hi.
All right, I'll do it. Have fun. Bye.
You too. Bye.
If you are or know a veterinarian or chiropractor, or a student of either of these professions, visit our website, Animal Chiropractic Education Source, to see how to become certified in animal chiropractic. Start improving the lives of the animals around you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.